I'm in port, sometimes I fantasize about just taking my luggage with me and never coming back to the ship. Like, I'll just wing it in Honduras, no problem. In September of 2018, I got a job as a poker dealer on a 7-day Western Caribbean cruise aboard Royal Caribbean Cruise Lines. At first, you might hear that and think, wow, that sounds pretty awesome. At first. My adventure began in Philadelphia, where I caught a 3-hour flight to Fort Lauderdale on the greatest airline in the world, Spirit, the Greyhound bus in the sky. I obviously bought a first-class ticket and was honored with the rare privilege of being seated behind a woman who brought her 8 children with her. 8! To mine, and I'm sure everyone else's surprise, she was a bit stressed out. I can't imagine why. I mean, she only had 8 children with her. Clearly, it was a smooth, easy flight with no stress whatsoever. I got a nice little Airbnb in Fort Lauderdale. I'm not quite sure how to feel about that. And caught an Uber to the ship the next morning. I waited in line to go through terrorist screening, and so the authorities could be sure all the guests brought no more than 2 bottles of wine on board per guest. That's right, no beer, no liquor. They make you buy all that stuff on the boat. This is the Allure of the Seas. At a total length of 1,187 feet, it measures just 12 inches shy of the world's largest passenger ship and has a capacity of almost 9,000 people. It weighs over 225,000 tons, has over 2,700 staterooms, 18 decks, 16 restaurants, bars, comedy and nightclubs, pools, whirlpools, basketball, mini golf, hot tubs, a theater, a spa, a fitness center, a Starbucks, a rock climbing wall, an ice skating rink, 2 flow riders, a zip line, and a bunch of people just sitting around doing nothing. But why sit around and do nothing when you should be shopping? Consumption. Perhaps one of America's most enduring pastimes. Spending money we don't have on things we don't need. For the 7 days at sea, I paid $300 for half of a stateroom, for which the normal price is much more. Other than that though, my status was just that of a normal passenger. I could eat for free in the buffet and a couple of the restaurants on the ship. The food wasn't bad, but it wasn't great. Coffee, tea, water, and lemonade were also free, but that was it. The soft drink package was $26 a day, and the alcohol package was $60 a day. Being on a cruise ship is like being on a giant floating mall that you can't get off of. There's only like 7 channels on the TV in my room. You have to pay $22 per day for the internet. It's a giant amusement park in the ocean where everything is overly priced and not as good as you hoped it to be. This artificial wave machine called a flow rider was the only real fun I found on the ship, although it wasn't worth the wait. Half an hour in line, 3-minute ride, half an hour in line again, 3-minute ride. The poker dealing part of the trip was fine. Everyone was extremely friendly and polite, and the work was pretty easy. I was on the swing shift though, so I didn't get off work till at least midnight each night, and by then, pretty much the whole ship was shut down, and the only place to eat was this mediocre pizza joint called Sorrento's. It's safe to assume that anytime I could get off the ship for a bit, I would. The only problem with that was that every port city we stopped in was overly saturated with touristic activities, attractions, and exorbitant prices. $20 for sunscreen. My ass. We only stayed in each port city for about 8 hours, so it was hard to get into anything really, because you just had to come back on the boat by about 4 or 5 p.m. They did have all the comforts of home though. I mean, I can't think of anything I'd rather do in the Bahamas than eat at Subway. On a completely unsarcastic note, My favorite thing about these cruise ship ports was the astoundingly contrasting array of ethnic diversity and the complete and total lack of any and all American corporate presence. Of the numerous Western Caribbean ports we visited, Costa Maya was by far the most heavily and blatantly geared toward tourists. The dolphin swimming was beyond depressing, and while I'm sure these cities have wonderful aspects to them and most likely some genuinely cool things to do, from a cruise vacation perspective, the snapshots I got from these places were little more than pathetic expressions of homogenized commercial tourism. Aside from these 4 dudes spinning around while hanging upside down from ropes and playing flutes and drums and shit, Cozumel, Mexico was hardly an exception.
It seems like just another port town. We've got Margaritaville, Senor Frogs, and the Bubba Gump Shrimp Corporation. The good news about Cozumel, they got cheap drugs.
I also managed to find some authentic street food there too. Oh my god, tacos!
The main difference I noticed between American Mexican food and real Mexican food in Mexico is the freshness of ingredients. You can tell that these tortillas are fresh. Even the meat has a fresher quality to it. The vegetables, everything tastes fresh. Those tacos were so good, I had to get 2 more.
Then I had a few drinks with a racist hillbilly moron from Mississippi.
Oh, all right.
Hey, how's it going?
The only port city that I can say I actually enjoyed was Roatan, Honduras. Once I pushed my way through the wall of tourist activity packages, I wandered through the town for a couple hours in search of a good meal.
These little holes in the wall are always the best places to eat. I got fried pork, plantains, and some sort of cabbage slaw that's really good. Only $3 too. Not bad.
This is the fried pork here.
Fried pork?
Brandy.
And bananas or plantains?
Banana.
Bananas.
Green bananas.
See. This ship is packed with massively dense hordes of stupid tourists. Huge piles of redundant protoplasm lumbering around like a fleet of interstate buses. I am so over this. It's disgusting.
The last day of the cruise, there was this farewell party in the poker room for the staff and the players, which had an open bar. So by the time I was supposed to work that night, I was already drunk enough for my bosses to disqualify me from dealing, and I was relieved of my duties.
And they pulled me out of the dealer box. They said, you're too drunk. Go home, go to your cabin.
So I went to the ship's casino and won $600 playing blackjack.
Yes! I'm fucking done! Forever! Fuck this place! Fuck this place! Yes! I'm fucking done!